We're all faced with many different circumstances that are upsetting for us throughout life. That's just kind of the way it goes. But we can strengthen our ability to be able to cope by doing something that's the equivalent, or sort of the equivalent, of when our doctors vaccinate us. So when you get a vaccination, the doctor puts like a little bit of the bacterium in you, your body responds to it, learns to fight against it, and so you fight against a particular illness. In the emotional realm, when you're exposed to a small to moderate amount of distress, then that brings your abilities to cope to the forefront. It strengthens them, and then you get stronger in being able to cope. This is particularly important in working with children and raising our children. We want to vaccinate them to provide them a little bit of distress, not to worry you don't actually have to do something to provide it. Life does it all on its own, but expose them to some distress, and then they can learn to manage it, get through it, and feel stronger. Importantly, just as a doctor just gives you a little bit of bacterium, too little wouldn't help you to fight the illness. Too much would just give you the illness, full on. So it's just got to be the right amount. In our situation, emotionally, it's the same thing. So for instance, let's say your child is learning algebra, and they're at the beginning of algebra, and you give them, say, a math problem. What's 5 plus 2? Clearly, that's something that they know. There's no amount of distress for them. That doesn't strengthen their abilities at all. That said, if you jump in and you start doing all those things for them, it will weaken whatever abilities they do have. They get the message from you that you don't trust their abilities, and they're also not using their coping skills. So you don't want to jump in when there's a situation where they can do it. On the other hand, if they're exposed to a situation that's too distressing, too much out of their domain, that's a problem. Beginning algebra student, you don't want to give them an advanced algebra problem and then just step back and say, I'll go to it. Because they'll get frustrated, overwhelmed, they're not going to feel good about themselves, and that doesn't strengthen anything. It actually can make them feel weaker, less good about themselves. However, a mild to moderate amount of struggle is what we're looking for. A math problem, an algebra problem, that's appropriate to your child's level. When you let your child do their homework on their own at their appropriate level, if you sit back, you see them really struggle through it, they get through it, and then they can feel good about having done the problem, but also there's this secondary message that you believe in them and you're there to support them, and so that feels good. They feel good about their ability to cope. Maybe they get very upset and they need you to step in just to help calm them down, and then they can think clearly. Or you step in and you help them calm down and they need a little guidance to get on track. But the idea is that you are there as a support, but not doing it for them. You're letting them struggle a bit. That struggle is important. It increases their strength in the ability to cope and to feel good about themselves. That's what we're going for. When you do that, then your child builds that strength in themselves and becomes an adult who can feel strong and confident and capable. They'll pursue their interests without worrying too much that they can't cope. And when life throws something at them, they feel capable of dealing with it in themselves or reaching out for help when they need to. I would love to hear your thoughts about these ideas in the comment area below. Thank you.